Let's talk a bit about the product strategy stack. This is really designed to help us understand where strategy fits in the puzzle of product management and product development. It's a really simple thing. You've probably seen variations of it before, and I like to call it the product strategy stack. It's just a nickname that I give it. But a very simple version of it may look something like this, where we have the vision at top, we have kind of high-level goals towards your strategy next, then we have your roadmap or the tactical planning inside that, and then finally at the bottom we have the work and what we're actually doing and achieving it. There are many different variations of the product strategy stack. There's some of them here. You might have seen some of these. They're just really different layers. Some of them have more layers in there. Some of them have less layers. It's all really the same thing. It's just understanding how the puzzle pieces fit together. And really at the end of the day, the product strategy stack is designed to help you navigate and understand where strategy fits in the puzzle and how everything links to it. And we'll talk a bit about why strategy is so important to prioritization. That's one of the reasons why we started here, and I wanted to introduce this concept. So let's get into exactly that. The role product strategy plays in prioritization. So one of the reasons why the product strategy stack is so important is because one of the places that organizations struggle with, and I talked about this as one of the anti-patterns, is having either a lack of strategy or a vague strategy. So what I mean by this is either product strategy is non-existent or even the business strategy is non-existent, because a product strategy shouldn't exist in isolation. It needs to align to a business strategy. So if that's missing, we're also going to have a problem or a gap inside our product strategy. The next one is that it's too vague or too high level, too fluffy. It's not helping us actually do anything. It's not really a defined strategy. And just like with the product strategy stack, when this is missing, we have a gap inside that stack. So it looks something like this. And this gap becomes problematic when it comes to prioritization for a few reasons. Because prioritization, much like the product strategy, doesn't happen in a vacuum. The first question we should be asking ourselves when it comes to prioritization is whether it aligns to our strategy. It should be almost as black and white as that. Does this thing align to our strategy or not? Is it helping to forward it? Or should it be something that should either be binned or put on the backlog for future? And without a good strategy, without an effective strategy, we struggle to answer that question. And as a result, what ends up happening is everything in our backlog, everything that we want to do becomes fair game. Almost you can rationalize anything as something that we should do. And this makes prioritization really hard because we're not making those trade-offs and we're not cutting things out. And we end up having a very large list of things that we could do as opposed to narrowing that. So before you even really get into prioritization, it's worth asking yourself the question of what is our product strategy like? Do we have a good product strategy? Or is it too vague and too high level? Or is it actually good and effective? And if you are struggling with product strategy or you want to learn more about it, check out the product strategy courses. We're going to go deep into it, how to make an effective strategy, how to structure it, all those types of things. But it's worth checking out. But that's really where you want to get your house in order before we even get talking about prioritization. If you don't have your strategy sorted out, you're really going to struggle when it comes to prioritization.